Well, hello, friends. Thank you for tuning in to Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. My name is Danny Dealz on behalf of executive producer Hurricane Lopez and supervising producer Stock Karen. We would like to welcome you to the program. I would like to go over a quick update on Unity Biotechnology Inc., ticker symbol UBX. This is one of my favorite microcap stocks at the moment. Believe there is huge potential. This company has some unique small molecules that fight senescent cells, if I'm saying that properly. They've pared down their pipeline to currently one drug, basically UBX 1325, that they are utilizing for aging diseases of the eye. It seems to be most effective by far with DME, macular edema, and then also shows some promise with wet AMD. And they're going to be going into a phase 2B study on the AMD, um, where they go ahead and combine the UBX 1325 with the anti VEGF treatment. I think they're going to use the ILEA. Um, but aflibercept, I always say these sciency names wrong. They make them intentionally hard to pronounce. So you have to go to medical school or at least have a PhD in some type of technical English. But in any case, guys, not a whole hell of a lot going on with the stock. I would just like to point out that over the last, say, 6 weeks, the stock bottomed out at $1.49, and it's essentially 2x from there. Um, if you take a look at the chart, the stock has, sorry, this thing keeps zooming on me, but you'll notice we previously had support here like 210. The stock fell all the way down to $1.50 after the bad results, and there was just dumping and dumping, and everybody was piling on the stock. But if you note, it quickly regained support and went back over $2. After it did that, it topped out here probably about 250 on this first little run. If you can see that right there, topped out about 246, came back down, not only challenged this support line at $2, but then not challenged it, but bounced back off it. But also, this happens to be this trend line that we got coming up off the bottom, which has been extremely on point from 4 or 5 all the way up to today. And we are challenging this $3 mark. You can see I hate to use these wedge terms, overuse them, because sometimes a wedge just comes down from the natural order of things. There's not a lot of room on the top and the bottom, and just the pattern has to get tighter and tighter. But if you take a look going back, um, you'll note that this top trend line is actually quite accurate, going all the way back more than a year. So you'll see this was rejected on March 18th, was rejected again on April 5th. Slightly rejected here in August 8th, but then we had that massive, massive pump and dump, but came right back down to the line. You see that. So this line has kind of acted as a weird type of support right there. But then, of course, the stock just fell back off a cliff because that's how pump and dumps work. Um, but then again, as you come down, 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 we found support there at 2. Um, and it bounced off of this upper bound line again in February 7, and again on March 7, and again we are just challenging that line right before those bad wet AMD results came out that a lot of people considered bad. I thought there was a lot of silver linings in there, but anyway, the control group had an unexpected gain in visual acuity, and that basically killed the data set and made it look much worse than it was. But so again, right before that, we challenged this upper bound trend line, and then we're challenging it again. And this is not only come off support, but you see a little bit of a triple bottom forming, not off the support line, but off of this upward trend line. So 1, 2, it ran all the way along this line from the 25th of April all the way to the 10th of May, and then we made another little move upward back down, bounced off the trend line, and I really feel like we're going to go up from here. The 48-week DME readout was extraordinarily good. I don't think people realize just how impressive that data was. So many patients with one shot had so much benefit from that drug over the course of almost a year. They're planning a phase 2B for their UBX 1325 for DME, which they are going to go head to head with Eylea. So that's the standard of care right now. They think they can definitely do better, but I would say, just like the wet AMD, it would also make a lot of sense, if possible, to test those drugs in conjunction with one another, so we don't get another October surprise and the Eylea all of a sudden works really well in patients that it wasn't working on, and it makes UBX's data look a little bit worse. But in any case, the stock is really poised to move up. It has 2x'd in the last 6 weeks, and it just shows a tremendous amount of resilience and buying pressure. Management is doing an outstanding job. They just released their earnings on May 9, 2023, and they talk about the readout and how it has made them they made their position much, much stronger in the marketplace, planning the phase 2B. They're also talking about explore the efficacy of 1325 compared to aflibercept to enable, and then they just go on and basically go on. What about I talked about the company is reducing the headcount total of 9 employees, or about 29% of its workforce. So there'll be 20 something people over there left. They had cash and cash equivalents of $84 million, and they are burning about $11 million per quarter. So you can see they should be able to go on for 7 to 8 quarters, and that is exactly what they have noted. They have runway through Q4 2024. So I really like the excellent fiscal management, the cost cutting, the discipline that this CEO and the financial team under him are showing. It's very easy to, when you have the cash runway, to want to do too much, to want to pursue other parts of your pipeline. But I think UBX is trying to prove the concept of, these anti-senescent cell therapies, and this is brand new stuff. Um, so they're doing the smart thing, and they're trying to really focus in, use their resources wisely, increase their runway, and maximize the chance for success for UBX 1325. Once we succeed with UBX 1325, I think then you can move on to other applications. Research and development expenses decreased by 6.7 million to 5.8, and that's again because they cut the pipeline down quite a bit and ended certain programs, or at least put them on hold. The decrease is primarily due to 3.9 million personnel costs due to the company's reduced headcount, 1.7 in direct R&D, mainly due to UBX 1325 phase 2 DME study nearing its completion. So those costs have come down. 0.8 million facilities related costs, primarily due to the allocation of general administrative expenses, net expenses on East Grand facilities, which have been subleased. So the facilities they didn't need, they went ahead and subleased rather than trying to break their lease. So that's probably a cost savings there as well. For a science guy, I really like the CEO's fiscal management. He seems very disciplined, very sober, and the kind of guy you want in charge if you are an investor. Going over the short interest has actually gone down quite a bit. You'll note that after the wet AMD data, that debacle came out, short interest spiked from about 7% all the way up to about 13%, stayed up in the 13% range till April 10, took a sharp decline down to the 7 to 8% level, and is currently sitting at about 6.64% of the free float. Worth noting that utilization is still reasonably high at 62%, cost to borrow fairly low, about 2%. So there's not a huge short on the stock, but there is definitely some short interest, which, if we get to some great news, could lead to some additional buying pressure, some upward price pressure, but certainly no short squeeze on this one. Going over what the analysts think about the stock, you have 4 buys, 0 holds, 0 sells, average 12-month forecast of $6, representing 104% upside from here. And you notice City downgraded from 15 to 5. You know, but these are some really, really good analysts. I've been certainly critical of Wedbush lately on their SoFi calls, but some of these other analysts I think are very strong, and you know, the forecasts speak for themselves. Everybody's basically predicting at least a 2x here. And I think that is these estimates are very conservative based on that 48-week readout. I mean, the DME market alone is expected, I think I read, to go over $12 billion by like 2031. It's currently at like 6 billion, so that market's almost going to double over the next like 8 years. This is a huge market, and UBX 1325 looks so promising that if it works even well in combination with anti VEGF such as Eylea, aflibercept, you know, you could have a huge winner on your hands. And the companies that make those anti VEGF drugs would certainly, I think, be clamoring to partner or buy UBX. So, guys, just an update there. A very strong price action after the stock completely crashed down to $1.49. We have 2x in just the last 6 weeks, and looks like we are in a very strong uptrend. We are about to intersect the upper bound line on the chart and the support line, and that is generally an area where something is going to happen, as noted by this purple arrow here. So we'll just have to see. The lower trend line obviously is very fresh. We only have, you know, 6 weeks worth of data on that one, but the upper trend line going back for a year has held besides this little pump and dump here. So my short-term target on the stock, I would put somewhere around the $6 range. That's been a bit of a pivot point for the stock. And then ultimately in the next year, I'm looking for the stock to break through $12.40. So I am putting an aggressive, strong, bullish, manly, tough guy target on the stock. Strong arm trading. We're putting a target, 1 year target on UBX of $12.40 based on the potential market, based on the incredible 48-week data readout, and just based on the fact that this is a novel therapy that looks extremely promising and could open up a huge, huge market to UBX, even if they can get a very small portion of the DME pharma market over the United States. I mean, when you're talking about a $12 billion market and you're talking about something that could be the standard of care or an important adjunct to the standard of care, you have to be talking about sales at least into the hundreds of millions of dollars if we can eventually gain FDA approval. And the current market cap of the company is about $40 million, and there is not a lot of debt, very strong fiscal management. So I would say UBX extremely undervalued, looking at for it to 2x over the short term, looking for it to 4x over the medium term. Want to thank you guys for watching Un Poco Mas, the show where we try to bring you just a little bit more. My name is DannyDealz, for executive producer Hurricane Lopez and supervising producer Stop Karen. We want to thank you for watching. We don't want to speak to your manager, don't have any complaints. Only want to say we hope you guys have a great evening, great rest of your day, and we will update you again on UBX as events warrant. Thanks for watching.